Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and I'm going to start this video off with a bit of coloring. So I have in front of me the Doc the Husky stamp set from CC Designs, and I'm coloring primarily, I think pretty much all with my Ohuhu markers, and these are the sort of the blue grays. In the 120 marker set of Ohuhus, I noticed there's a fair amount of grays, and at first I thought it seemed like too many grays. Like, why would I ever need so many grays? Because there's cool grays, there are warm grays, there are neutral grays, there are blue grays, what I'm using, and there are even green grays, which I never even heard of. So, I mean, I would say maybe 20% of the pack is gray tones. But now that I have this, and now that I've swatched it out and I can actually see the difference between all of the grays, it really does make sense to have all of these nuanced shades of gray. And I think for the Husky dog, the blue grays really do remind me of how they look in real life. And so now I'm really glad to have all of these different shades of gray. There's even a very, very pale blue gray that I'm using for the shadow areas of what is really white fur. And so I've just used that and my colorless blender to really smooth that out. But that way, it's not just flat white. I know it's probably a little hard to see on camera, but that little bit of shadow I think does help to make it a little bit look a little bit more realistic. And before I finish my card, I think I might go in with some diamond glaze on the eyes and the nose as well, just to add that bit of shine and make it a really solid black. My stamping doesn't look super perfect, especially you can see on the nose itself. There's I think some of the cardstock showing through. So really adorable. So in this stamp set, there's actually, I believe there are 6 of these Husky dogs in just super adorable positions and all looking as cute as ever. And what I'm going to create today is an easel card featuring just 2 of these little pups. By this point, I think I have 3, maybe 4 stamp sets from CC Designs that are puppy themed. I just can't get enough of their puppies, and I don't know who illustrates these, but they do such a fantastic job because they're all so cute and adorable. So I'm gonna add some finishing touches here. Maybe it's a little bit more visible, the how I'm shadowing the white fur, just with the lightest blue gray that I have, and blending it out with my colorless blender so that there aren't really any sort of sharp lines. And I think that way it looks a little bit scary to do at first because you're coloring in what should be white. But I think when you have the full image colored in, it does make sense to add that bit of shadowing, especially if you have shadowing throughout the rest of the card. And so I think these Huskies are really easy to color in because it's not a lot of colors. You've got some grays and then some pinks, which is what I've chosen for the inner ear and tongue. So this is my easel card. It's A2 in size, so basically just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 folded. And on the front panel, I've scored and folded that in half again. So that score line, that fold line is at 2 1/8. I'm using some solid color cardstock for the sky. I just thought to make my life easier, I'm going to make my backgrounds just out of solid color cardstock instead of inking up a background. On the bottom section here, I've just cut a nice little grassy edge out of green cardstock, and I've made sure that this sticks up beyond the 2.5 inches so that it's actually taking up more than half the card. And on this bottom portion here, now normally what you would do is maybe add a strip of something and pop it up on some foam as your easel stopper. Instead, what I'm going to do is I have this Happy Birthday strip die cut from Picket Fence Studios, and I layered on, I think I layered that up twice so that it's nice and thick. I have this piece here is 120 pound, and I realized before I stacked it on top of the other die cut, the matching die cut, that I want to sandwich it in between this glue tab here, which will act as a sort of a flap. And that way the whole thing is nice and finished from the front and the back because you've hidden that little flap in between these two die cuts. And then I'm going to just trim off this sentiment strip is really nice. You can use it on a slimline and obviously smaller cards as well by just trimming it off. And this little section here is going to get glued into the inside of my card on the bottom. And that way when you open this, you can flip the Happy Birthday sentiment up, and then it acts as your easel stopper, but then it also acts as the sentiment on your card as well. So then now that I have that in position, I'm gonna position my puppies, my Huskies, excuse me, so that they're not going to get blocked by the time you have this easel card standing. And then it just looks like they are part of the scene with the birthday sentiment. And so once I get these positioned, I also decided to, and the other thing to note is whenever you're gluing something down on that bottom half, you want to make sure that you're only gluing it to the bottom section. Don't glue anything to the top or where I have the sky essentially, because otherwise your easel won't be able to flip up. So you need anything that is going to pop up above that fold line needs to be free and clear. Otherwise your easel won't actually stand. And then I thought since I used a die that cuts sort of a more slimline grassy edge border, I had some extra grassy edge. So I thought maybe I would just attach that under the puppy's feet just to ground them a little bit, and that way they're not just floating. And so I've just added some tufts of grass. I had a hard time figuring out where I wanted to add it because the other thing that I was trying to keep in mind was how this card looks initially when you first pull it out of the envelope and it's still flat. And there's quite a bit of open space, white space, which isn't a bad thing, but I did want to make sure that it didn't look too sparse, too empty. So I added the Life is Better with Doggos sentiment to the top. And here you can see kind of a final close-up of the card. And of course, this is how I think the card will be displayed most of the time. So I wanted to make sure that that looked exactly as I wanted it. I hope that you enjoyed this card. And if you did, please consider liking, commenting, and sharing. And be sure to subscribe to my channel as well if you'd like to see new videos as they get posted. Thanks so much, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye!